You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Today on our Friday review, I'm actually going to bring you a bunch of products that I personally use myself, books that I've read, supplements that I use all the time in my practice, especially during the wintertime, which is basically a must-do, and I'll talk about those. But what I like to do is I like to tell you this, is that typically when I make a recommendation to you, I've already used 2 or 3 different models of whatever this thing is. Like I'll talk about the water filters in a moment. And what I do is I choose the best one. I also look at the reviews, of course, before I purchase them, and then I pass that information on to you. All of these that I'm talking about, I don't get for free. I purchase them with my own money. What I decide is the best fit for myself and my family is what I'll then use in my Boston Wellness Center called the Cabral Wellness Institute. And then I will recommend them to you. So you're getting these things tried and true with obviously great results behind them. So what I want to talk about first are shower and bath filters. Now, really important, before we get to shower and bath filters, hopefully that you tuned in 3 weeks ago, right? 3 weeks ago on number 286. So I said, what is the best water filters? And I broke down 5 different filters, one that costs just $40 this is drinking water we're talking about, all the way up to $1,500 and everything in between. So definitely tune into that episode if you didn't. It's as simple as just going to stephencabral.com/podcast or just go to the show number, which is, this one is 286. So stephencabral.com/286, and you'll get that episode. Now today, I'm going to talk about shower and bath filters. Now, why does that matter? Why is that important? All right, very important. In the US, at least, they use chlorine in water. Now, they use chlorine in water for a very good reason. Chlorine does kill bacteria. So what it does is it allows us not to swallow bacteria, and it allows for more purified drinking water. The issue is this, is that chlorine, so it's antimicrobial, right? It kills bacteria. Well, it just so happens that we have about 100 trillion bacteria in our gut, and there are only about 40 trillion or so of cells of us. So believe it or not, there's actually more bacteria in our gut than there are cells in our own body. But when you take things like antibiotics and when you take things like chlorine, it wipes out a lot of that good bacteria in your gut. Not a good thing. Not a great thing for immunity. Not a good thing for leaky gut. Not a good thing for autoimmune-based issues. Not a good thing for psoriasis, for eczema, for all these issues that we have to deal with. So we're very grateful, I will say that, because I've shared the experience and story before that when I went overseas, I actually brought chlorine tablets with me. And the reason I did that is I didn't want to get dysentery. I didn't want to get parasites. I didn't want to get all sorts of different things. So when I was in India, and I was a very remote section, very remote, and the water was suspect at best for myself. What I did was I filled up big pitchers at the beginning of the day, and I dropped in the right amount of chlorine tablets. And then I let that chlorine, though, evaporate. I stirred it around, and chlorine will evaporate out. However, for your regular tap water, it's not good because it's stored in that tap water when you go to drink it. That's why you have to use your water filters. Now, and besides that, there's so many things. You have to check out that water episode because there's so much more in the water. There's pharmaceutical drugs, believe it or not. You'll find that out on that episode 286. There's heavy metals, there's aluminum, there's all sorts of terrible things that you should not be putting in your body. Okay, so now let's move on to the water filters for the shower and for your bathtub. Why do you want to remove chlorine from your shower or your bathtub water if you're not going to be drinking that water? That's a perfectly acceptable question. And the answer is this: believe it or not, chlorine as a vapor, as a gas, is even more deadly, even more toxic than drinking it. And here's why. There's no passes through the liver. That's why. So that's the shortcut right there. But think about it. When you're taking a shower, it's enclosed. Like you have a shower curtain or glass, and the steam is building up in the bathroom. Now that chlorine is now in the air as a gas, and you're breathing it directly into your lungs. Now as it goes in directly into your lungs, it then moves directly into your bloodstream. So you're getting this vapor, this chlorine chlorine directly in your bloodstream, which is a known carcinogen, which is toxic to the body. Very difficult for the liver to then have to detoxify, not good for overall health. So what can we do? We can use a shower filter, and it's so simple. Whatever you have right now for a shower head, meaning like the thing that the water comes out of, all you do is literally unscrew that, and you screw on an adapter, which basically has a little cartridge in it, and the cartridge has carbon, or it has something that's charcoal. It's going to clear out the chlorine as it's passing through. And they have all sorts of different filtration systems that I'll talk about today, different stage filtration systems, again, with the activated carbon that I was just talking about, or calcium sulfite. There's again, a bunch of different terms. It doesn't matter at all. It just works. So what it does, though, is by the time then the water comes out of your filter, now it comes through totally normal, you will not even realize that you're taking a shower with a different filter. The nice thing is, though, after a while, you will actually notice that your skin feels a little softer. Your hair is a little less dried out, because chlorine absolutely does dry out your eyes, your skin, and your hair. So it's another reason why not to use chlorine in the shower. It's amazing. And we're talking about $30 here. That's it. Like, really fantastic product. So why don't I just give you those products right now, and then I'll share the bath one in a moment, what I use for my own kids too. So I'm going to give you 3. All right. So I first started with something called the Culligan, Culligan. And of course, literally just go to the show notes page, right? Every day, the show notes page gives you the links to everything. And today is just StephenCabral.com/307, or just go to the podcast page at the StephenCabral.com website. Everything is right there. Okay. We try to be that one-stop shop, make things super simple for you. And again, they're just links to the products. Okay. So the Culligan I used, what did I like about the Culligan? Easy to install. It was its own shower head. So it actually doubled as its own shower head, and it had 5 different spray settings. So it kind of like did the massage setting. So it's nice. It's not just a filter. It's actually its own shower head with 5 different settings. And that's kind of nice too, because it's almost like a spa type shower. What didn't I love about this one specifically? Well, mine, for whatever reason, now this is a very highly rated product, so like almost 3,000 reviews on Amazon. For whatever reason, mine flopped down. And again, like, this could be me, this could absolutely be user error, but if it happened to me, it could happen to someone else. Still a great product. 99 out of 100 people, are going to like this product. It's super simple. The cartridges are so easy to replace, and they're only about $12. And you don't have to replace them, I think, for 10,000 gallons of water. So that's quite a bit of water. So, and you'll know your water pressure will start to be a little less, and that just means your shower filter is getting a little bit more clogged up, and that's easy. Then you just replace it. But I would say not for every 3 to 4 months. Very, very simple. Okay, so then after that, I moved on to what's called the Sprite Universal Shower Filter, and it's a 3-setting head as well. So this one gives you 3 settings, so it also does the massage and all those type ones, and it's a little larger filter, meaning like you can filter out most likely a little bit more. It's a larger unit. It's all white instead of the silver. And what was the price difference? The price difference is the Culligan's $29.99, and this one is $30.96. So very few, $1 difference, right? This was a great shower filter, and I still use this one currently right now. Why haven't I switched? Well, it does its job. To be honest, like, this is a good shower filter. It's all white. I have this obsession with white and cleanliness and all those types of things, and it works great. So let me give you one more that you might like to check out as well. Now, this one, you get to keep whatever shower head you have. So some people have one that they can actually take off, and they can kind of, they move around. It has the cord attached to it. I don't know what that's called, but this one is great as well. And this is called the Aqua Bliss. So it's a 3-stage filter, and it definitely helps with a lot of those skin-based issues, just like the other ones we're talking about. It removes the chlorine, removes some of the heavy metals, the algae, the bacteria, like the other ones do as well. So this one gets excellent reviews, and if I had a shower filter, meaning like I should say a shower head that I really liked, then I would go with this one, okay? Because this one's not its own shower head. It's an intermediary stage, which means there's a little pipe that comes out of your wall. You screw this little filter on called the Aqua Bliss, and then you attach your shower head to it. So hopefully that makes sense. And this one is $31.86. So again, they're all pretty much the exact same price. All right. So please, for $30, please do invest in one of these. You're not going to get those those chlorine vapors. You're going to really help out your detox system so much. All right, every little bit does help. Now, for a bath filter, for my girls, and they still take baths, that we use this thing called the Crystal Quest. So basically it's this ball, literally it's like a hanging, I don't know, it's like I don't even know how to describe it. It's just this white ball, a cylinder that has the top cut off of it, and the water pours through it as the water comes out of the bathtub faucet. So what it does, though, it basically clears out the chlorine, because you don't want your children, your babies, to sit, or yourself if you take a bath, to sit in chlorinated water, because it's just so bad. It gets absorbed through your skin, but also it dries out your skin. It's not good for it at all. So here's the issue, though, is this thing fell off my bathtub every single night. I had to create these little rigging devices like I was MacGyver, and I would take elastic stick and just cook it up. And so it got really annoying, and it's not a cheap one either. It's $55, but it is really important because I didn't want my girls to bathe in chlorine. Well, they make an easier version now, and it costs less money. And so instead of the Crystal Quest, again, nothing against them, it just needs a better hook, that's all. It's called the Cousin. I think it's pronounced that. It's CUZN, and it's called a bath ball faucet filter. And what it does is it purifies the water. It takes out chlorine for up to 20,000 gallons. So really, really fantastic. And this will last you, again, for I think 200 baths or something like that is what it's rated for. So quite a bit of power behind that. And again, this one is $39.95. So your shower filter will be about $30. Your bath filter, if you take baths, is $39.95. Absolutely fantastic. And so those are my recommendations for that. Hopefully that helps. And again, simply go to today's show notes, stephencabral.com/307. You'll get that. All right. So I'm going to pick up the pace now because I have two more products to review. I just thought that was so important, so I wanted to review it for you today. And I know I could keep it at that for today's episode, but I want to get two more in here today because I do have a lot of products in the queue to bring you. So this is really simple. A lot of people ask me for cookbooks. I don't have a great cookbook to recommend for you because not a lot of them share my same philosophies. For example, the majority of the world would be much healthier if they were gluten-free and they were dairy-free, and they just saved dairy and they saved gluten for cheat meals. So I'm about to recommend a book to you that does have some dairy in it, that does have some gluten in it, but it has over 500 recipes. So believe me, you can pick through and you can find some absolutely fantastic ones. And the Mediterranean diet, you're going to have a hard time nitpicking the Mediterranean diet, which is what this is all about. My diet is Mediterranean diet with other facets mixed into it. And again, gluten-free, dairy-free. It is absolutely fantastic when you look at the research, when you look at the studies. It's blue zone based, which means anti-aging, all these great things. Anyway, not one specific diet is what I'm recommending, but in this book, so it has something like spicy sole, which is basically you take any piece of fish that you would like, a white fish, and you can use their recipe for pesto. We use a lot of pesto in my house, and we use pine nuts, or we might mix pistachios with it. We use a lot of basil, and there'll be garlic, and there'll be olive oil, and it tells you how to make these specific recipes. And again, my background just being Mediterranean type background, it obviously works well with my body, but I mean, most people's bodies as well, because we're talking about good whole food and healthy eating. And I'm just flipping through it. So that was one of the recipes. It will give you different intakes too on how really looking at getting more fiber into your diet. Let's give you the full name of this book, and then I'm going to pull out a couple pages for you. So that spicy sole recipe was just adding ground pepper to it. That's the spice. No big deal. That's page 169. I'm going to see if I can find that pesto recipe for you. And again, we use a kind of a family tradition one, but there's one in here called Easy Basil Pesto, which is your fresh basil leaves, your garlic. They use walnuts in this one, but you can use pine nuts, which is kind of traditional. That's what we use. And then you have olive oil. You have, if you decide to use dairy, they have pecorino cheese. You could use a different type if you'd like. And then salt and pepper, really simple. We use lemon juice in ours. And again, I'm going to share recipes in the future as well, but one step at a time. They also have a black olive paste with Kalamata olives, garlic, olive oil. Again, you get this garlic and olive oil, all these great antioxidants and great for your gut. Dried rosemary, some fresh pepper, some anchovy if you want to put it in there. And that's a black olive paste that you could use over a fish dish or a vegan-based dish. Really phenomenal. So anyway, with over 500 recipes, you can really sort through this and find yourself some really healthy ones, just some new things. And it's a great great one to keep in your kitchen, especially if you're someone that collects cookbooks. And I know a lot of my listeners do. This is one that you can absolutely add to your repertoire. It's going to help with cardiovascular, just health in general, because of the healthy omega-3 fats, a lot of good veggies, and a lot of gluten-free healthy grains as well. So the book is called The Complete Mediterranean Diet by Dr. Michael Osner. And he's an MD with, I actually believe he's a cardiologist. So let's just confirm that. He's a board certified cardiologist. So fantastic book. You can check it out if you'd like. Read the reviews. I'll link up to in the show notes. All right, the last one. This is going to be really quick because this is super simple. Now, it's the winter time. If you have not checked your vitamin D levels to know how much vitamin D you need, because remember, pretty much all of us do. If you live in a climate that gets, let's say, below 50 degrees, most likely you're above a certain meridian that does not allow for strong enough sunlight during the day. And what does that mean? It means that you're not getting your 10,000 IUs of natural sunlight from the sun. Now, I'm not saying to supplement 10,000 IUs. I'm about to explain that right now. What I'm saying is, though, your vitamin D levels are going to lower, and it's no coincidence that cold and flu season happens when there's less sunlight, when there's less natural vitamin D. It's not the only reason, but you need vitamin D for a strong, healthy body, not just bones, not just that type of stuff, but your immune system in order for it to stay balanced. And it also helps with weight loss. I mean, it's like the new magnesium, right? I mean, vitamin D helps with so many things. So honestly, my number one recommendation is just to have your vitamin D tested. You can do it right at home now. If you go to stephencabral.com/store, and again, your PCP most likely is not going to run your vitamin D for you. If they do, well then, kudos to them. That's absolutely fantastic because very few PCPs are going to run it, but that would be great. And you just look for your 25 hydroxy vitamin D. That would be your test. So if not, you can run it on your own. We send you a lab. Literally, it comes right to your door. And what we're going to do, and again, you can just email our office. I'm not sure if it says it online, but we're going to give you a free bottle of vitamin D for anyone that orders the vitamin D3 package. So literally, you get my recommendations for how much vitamin D you need based on your lab results. So this is true functional medicine. You literally just poke your finger, put the blood drops on a card, you mail it in, the lab sends me your information, I send you an email saying, hey, here's your lab results, here's how many IUs we recommend for you to get up your healthy levels of vitamin D. And so anyway, all that is explained. You literally just go to stephencabral.com/store. Again, we'll link it up in the show notes, and just go to the wellness tab. You'll find it right there. And we will give you a free bottle of vitamin D with that lab purchase because, again, it's just so important. Now, let's just say, okay, I want to test my vitamin D. How much should I take? Well, the average person, right? The average person, everyone in between there, should take about 35 IUs per pound of body weight. So I know most people say, oh, take 1,000, take 2,000, take 5,000. Oh, 5,000 is way too much for most people. Well, people say that just basing it on generalities. So if you can't lab test, base it on 35 IUs per pound of body weight. Now, you might be someone who utilizes vitamin D really well, so this could raise your levels quite high. But you might be someone who's kind of an underutilizer, meaning like you can't fully utilize the vitamin D that you're taking. At that point, you don't need more vitamin D. I can't explain that all today, but you need more of the cofactors of vitamin D. I'll talk about that in the future without a doubt because vitamin D is so important. So let's say you're the average, there's no average, right? But let's say you weigh 160 pounds. 35 IUs times 160 equals 5,600 units per day. So look at that. So you need about 5,600 or 5,600 IUs a day. So one 5,000 IU capsule per day taken with breakfast is all you need. And the reason is there's going to be about 400 IUs in most good quality functional medicine multivitamins. And I hope you're taking multivitamin. Or the all-in-one powder, which is what I do. So that takes care of it right there. Super simple. I mean, vitamin D capsules are so tiny. It's just vitamin D3 is what you're looking for, not the vitamin D2. Don't get it from milk. Don't fall for that fallacy. And again, I don't want to talk about this forever. Super simple. Test your vitamin D levels if possible. Get a free bottle of vitamin D with it. If you don't want to, find yourself a good quality vitamin D3. We'll link one up in the show notes. And you're going to take anywhere from, again, 2,000 to 5,000 IUs for most adults during the winter. And kids, same thing. So if your child weighs 30 pounds and you multiply by 35, you're going to get about 1,000 IUs per day. And that's how much your children should take. So all of these things do matter. And again, from about October through May, way in these colder climates like Boston, where I am, you're not getting any vitamin D. You can't get a tan, even if you were laid outside just in your underwear. You're still not going to get a tan. That shows you that you're not going to get any vitamin D. All right. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to another Friday review. Really love these reviews because, again, these are all products that I use myself. I'm holding the Complete Mediterranean Diet right here. I have both the shower and bath filters at my home, and I take vitamin D myself during the winter and obviously recommend it in my practice. So please do feel free to share this episode with anyone you believe it could help. Take care.
Before you go, I wanted to ask you this question. What if I could teach you in just a couple of hours how to transform your thyroid, hormones, adrenal, cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar, weight loss, energy, mood, brain, pregnancy, anti-aging, or many other health-related issues? After 20 years in private practice, after seeing and overseeing 250,000 client appointments, I sincerely feel I have the real-world data and have found the answer you've been searching for. So what I've done is spent hundreds of hours of my own time refining what you need to know in order to uncover your underlying root cause health issues and then begin to rebalance the body and bring it back to a state of robust health and wellness. I'm going to teach you exactly what I do in my private practice so you can understand how you got here and now what you need to do in order to heal. You'll receive all of the important success checklists, protocols, and even ways to customize it to make the program fit your busy life. And you'll get all of this at a fraction of the price. Let me save you the time, money, energy, stress, and frustration of not knowing what to do next. Instead of reading dozens of books on the topic and seeing multiple practitioners, I will condense everything that you need to know in just a few hours of video tutorials that you can watch and listen to anywhere. Together, we will make this healing process an enjoyable one that you can take with you for the rest of your life. I wish you all of the best of health and happiness, and I hope to be able to guide you on your healing journey through my Health Results Accelerators. Simply choose the health imbalance you're currently suffering from, and by the end of today, you'll know what went wrong and how to get well again. I guarantee it. For details, head over now to stephencabral.com/courses.